Hello there.
This is where the fun begins.
Genevieve O'Reilly from the Star Wars Disney Plus show Andor revealed the most exciting change that the show's upcoming second season will implement. That is exactly what we are going to be discussing in this video, is some of the key main differences that we're going to be seeing with compared to Andor Season 1 and Andor Season 2. Diego Luna's big streaming series was a surprise hit for Lucasfilm, with both fans and critics raving about its quality. In fact, out of all of the company's projects over the recent years from Lucasfilm, Andor seemed to garner the strongest reaction. Last summer, ahead of the first season, it was also recently revealed that while its freshman run was told over the course of about a year, Season 2 would span a total of 4 years, implementing a lot of different time jumps. And so it also turns out that at least one cast member is beyond pumped for the different possibilities that those time jumps can bring for the second season. And so in a recent interview with Playlist.com, Andor star Genevieve O'Reilly, who plays Mon Mothma in the show, she'll also be reprising that same role for the Ahsoka series coming out later this year, spoke about the biggest change in the upcoming second season. The actress started out by pointing out how the show's creator, Tony Gilroy, originally had arcs for multiple more seasons of the story, but it's been condensed into a single one, which is she called a juggernaut. Saying that in full quote from Genevieve O'Reilly, quote, "So he definitely had arcs. He had an arc in regard to each year, essentially, what was happening. So that shifts and changes when you decide, and I think that what they've done going into the second season is quite extraordinary. The way it allows for the piece to be almost like a juggernaut," ending that quote right there. And so while I do think it's a pretty well-known fact here now into the regards of the Andor show, is that it was originally planned to be a total of 5 seasons long. However, really mostly because of the main reason that Diego Luna didn't think that he would be able to follow through with such a commitment, they condensed it down to a single 2 seasons. And I'm not pointing fingers just to Diego Luna, a lot of the other cast and crew members also kind of decided on the fact that that feels like a little bit too much to really take on and commit to overall. However, so then working around that, Tony Gilroy went ahead and condensed all of the main arcs into the second season. And really for me and my own thoughts and opinions, it brings up many different emotions. It brings up concerns and excitements, I think, for the second season. One of my big concerns is that I feel that the second season of Andor is going to be rushed through. It's going to feel nothing like the first season of the show, and that it will kind of fall flat. I don't think it will be as great. However, I'm very eager to see Tony Gilroy, of course, prove me wrong in that. It's just that with so many different time jumps throughout the season, I don't feel like that will have necessarily that chance to really garner and really connect with these characters the way that we were with the first season. But then at the same time pointing out that Season 1 of Andor did take place throughout the course of about a year, and it featured a couple of time jumps here and there that didn't really dequality the overall story of Season 1. So I'm excited to see that same implement while being brought for the second season. Genevieve O'Reilly continues in that same interview, noting how super exciting and deeply compelling it is for Season 2 to be using every 3 episodes to jump a year, making these different arcs similar to what we do see in the Star Wars The Clone Wars animated show, which is a huge change from Season 1's timeline. Saying that in full quote from Genevieve O'Reilly, quote, "And I think the excitement of using every 3 episodes to jump a year drives the piece and drives the narrative in a way that is super exciting and deeply compelling. It's been interesting to be a part of the last season and this season and to see that difference. And then that storytelling, just in the structure of how you tell that story." Ending that quote right there, it is definitely a very big difference into the regards of the way that the narrative is being told with its different structures. So of course, I'm very eager to see how that's going to play out, if it works and how it works. O'Reilly shared that it's super helpful and vital to get all of the scripts ahead of time, and how getting the lines on the morning is really difficult in comparison. Saying that in full quote, quote, "It's extraordinarily helpful and vital to have scripts to be able to carve and create and to be a collaborative creator within that piece, and many people do this brilliantly. But it is really difficult to chip away or to chisel at something when you're just getting on the morning of filming for that script. If you just get it in there in that morning and you have to use all of your instincts and you just have to go, it's not going to turn out the best." And then that quote right there. The actress admitted that some people are brilliant at working more instinctively, without too much of a heads up, and that they're able to come up with different things in their head on the fly, pretty much. So while it may not work for her necessarily, it can work for a number of the other cast and crew members for the show, saying that in full quotes, and people are brilliant at that. I love watching instinctical actors, but there is a great acknowledgement of craft if you're given the time or the space to absorb the story and to be a part of the creating process. The first season, I think, was slightly different because of COVID. We did get all of the scripts though, ending that quote right there. O'Reilly admitted that season 2 of Andor has been a bit different in comparison, but that Andor creator Tony Gilroy is a great collaborator and would constantly and consistently chat with the actors about their scenes, saying that in full quote from O'Reilly, "This season it's been a bit different, just because we haven't had that time. Of course, it's all written, but it wasn't all the same. But Tony Gilroy is a great collaborator and he's really interested in chatting. So he would ring and we would chat through bits, and he's such an ear for words and for people and for connection and communication that when you get the script and you see what he has created, it's all three. There's nothing to do after that. It's quite a unique experience and get scripts that are beautifully written and that hold such a breadth of story." Ending that quote right there. Of course, Tony Gilroy time in and time out has always been praised by the cast and crew members of Andor as an overall show of how great he is as a director, as an executive producer, as a producer, and everything like that. And also to see that he is kind of continuing on with the second season, not to mention that he is also the director and creator of Rogue One, of where we initially do see Cassian Andor first introduced in the Star Wars franchise. It's nice to have a consistent flow of the same creator. It makes everything connect a lot better. A lot of different events happen between the 4 years between the events of Andor Season 1 and Star Wars Rogue One, the movie. While Andor's first season took its time telling the story and that narrative in a different structure compared to what we're going to see with Season 2, it's hard to imagine that the sophomore run being anything other than packed to the brim with content and eventful happenings. There's nothing going to be filler. It's going to be all killer, of course. When it comes to Genevieve O'Reilly's Mon Mothma, fans should expect a more dangerous and heartbreaking storyline for the overall character, which I'm very excited to see with that and how they're going to pull that all off. With really my only complaint with Andor Season 1 is that the overall story arc for Mon Mothma towards the last couple of episodes for Andor began to kind of die down. They weren't as exciting or as impactful really all that much in my own thoughts and opinions. Perhaps audiences will see the tragic Gorman massacre that's been discussed before, the event that caused the senator to denounce Emperor Palpatine publicly, exiting herself from the Council of Senators. Another part of Season 2 will be the return of Andy Serkis's Kino Loy. This isn't something I've necessarily have discussed all that much here in the channel, so I'll have another video discussing this in more depth, who many fans of course thought died in the first season. However, that might turn out not to be true. Not much is known about what he'll be up to, but the actor himself did tease that the character is in quite a lonely place for right now. Audiences should also get ready to see how Cassian Andor met his droid buddy that we see in Rogue One, K2, who sadly wasn't included in Season 1, though other droids of his model made the cut, which was pretty cool to see. Anyway, I would love to hear all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. What are you looking forward to seeing most with Andor Season 2, especially with all the many different differences that we're going to see compared from Season 1 to Season 2. Let me know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. And until next time, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks so much for watching today's video. Have a great one, guys. May the Force be with you as always. Peace out.